We have Professor Paco Herrera next. He's a professor at the University of Granada and part of the advisory board in ADLR. This is the title of the talk on co-explainers, redefining explainability for post hoc justifications to interactive oversight and trust. I'll let everybody reconvene before we can start the talk.
Thank you very much. Well, sorry, my throat is not so good. My pharyngitis is under condition. It's not well compatible. Thanks to Miguel. Miguel present one way to use the explainability with the causal AI, and I will present a complementary approach from the AI point of view is the explainability. And my talk is focused on, please, my slide. Well, thank you. Sorry. Yes, it is okay. My talk is focusing on a new position approach for discussing about explainability. Usually, when we discuss about explainability, we are discussing about, in some case, in the classical tabular data, about interpretable models, Decision 3 or any other rule-based system. On the other side, when we use deep learning, we are using post hoc methods, and usually we provide a model explanation basically to the user. But this provides problem because really sometimes, depending of the domain and the context of the kind of expert, the explanation are not useful for taking decision. Basically, in the human AI collaboration scenario, because really the explainability may be useful when we are talking about high-risk scenario, high-risk problems. And in this scenario, the user, the expert, the human must take decision. And the human really needed to understand why to take the decision. And this is our position paper with this new approach based on an interactive and iterative model for explainability. Well, first, of course, all you are familiar with explainable AI, but why explainable AI is a matter today? We have different reasons. Of course, we know that using any kind of a system, no interpretable AI system, we have the opacity problems. It's always present in our model, especially in deep learning and current models. We have the problem of reliance and the requirement of the society, the trust in AI. Let me to introduce shortly them. Of course, opacity is always in our models, and particularly when we use deep learning, we never will put away the opacity. We can introduce partial explainability, but we must govern the opacity, and of course explainability provides us the possibility to go towards transparency. A fundamental problem in this high-risk scenario, health among them, of course, is the AI reliance. And we have, in the classical scenario, we have the AI agent. And in this scenario with the AI agent and the human, we have the appropriate reliance, but unfortunately we have too clear scenario, the over-reliance, when really the humans made a set a recommendation even when they are incorrect, because they have not information to take decision against the system. And on the side, the under-reliance. When the humans, there are some experiments, well-known papers, human resource, health, and different domains, when we find that the human is uncomfortable with the system, and finally, the human can take a random decision over reliance and under-reliance. Another fundamental aspect is the trust in AI. We always are discussing about the risks of AI, and we need to increase the trust in AI from in a global point of view, and a society point of view. And then explainability, the effect of explainability is fundamental to increase the trust in AI in the black box model. Let me to revisit an definition of explainable AI. There are a lot of definitions. Of course, we are all familiar with interpretability versus the black box AI. And let me to focus attention on this definition. This definition was proposed by a set of authors, myself among them, as a set of things that we discuss in depth about what are the, in our opinion, two fundamental aspects for explainability. For us, it's fundamental to pay attention to the audience. It's quite different to discuss about explainability if we are discussing about the user, the doctor, the end user, the patient, or the regulator, or the people, the AI experts that are designing the system. Of course, the audience is fundamental in order to discuss about explainability. And the second aspect is to make the rationing and all the process easy to understand the people, according to the context, the audience. For us, it's fundamental the understanding and the audience. And it's fundamental to understand that if we observe or we pay attention to the explainability from two sides, expert, user or end user, or the research or developers, we are thinking sometimes, or we are working into quite a different scenario. The research, some ways, are thinking about use case to make it useful the current approach, and on the other side, the expert want to understand the model. And then we need to put together these two visions of AI. Then it's fundamental to pay attention to the audience and to pay attention to the understanding according to the audience. Well, a fundamental aspect is the trust in AI. Of course, we are now in a scenario when we have a big black model, we have a large language model, generative AI, and it's fundamental to increase the trust. If we check, this is a definition of trust, the Cambridge Dictionary, we have the definition from the point of view of a person, is good, honest, and will not harm you, and a definition from the point of view of an artifact. Some things is safe and reliable. Really, when we are discussing about safe and reliable, we are discussing about trustworthy AI from the AI point of view, and when we discuss about trustworthy AI, we know that we have different aspects of trustworthy, among them explainability. In fact, a recent study, the last year, about the health and the use of AI in healthcare showed that in America now 51% of people are optimistic about the possibility of to improve the healthcare with AI, and but of course 56% say that AI can improve access to healthcare, but we can observe that we are not in the 50-50, but near to the 50-50, because we need to increase the trust of part of the society that don't understand, don't know, or don't believe enough about the possibility of AI. Then, to increase the trust is fundamental in the future in order to the acceptance of the use of AI. Well, when we discuss about trustworthy and we check all definition of trustworthy, for example, if we check the fundamental aspect of European Commission, the trustworthy guidelines, we find 4 ethics principles, among them explainability, explicability, but now explainability as one of them. Explainability from the European view of AI is an fundamental ethical principles. And if we check, for example, the OECD, the principles of AI, we find also the third one, transparency on and explainability. And if we check the National Institute of Standard and Technology, the next definition of trustworthy AI, according to the 7 requirements, we find that explainability and interpretability is one of the requirements for trustworthy of AI. Explainability always appears as ethical principles or a technical requirements in order to discuss about trust in AI. A recent study, what was published in a Nature journal recently, checked all a lot of studies about the AI and trustworthy AI and the ethical principles, and as we can check, among the 3 fundamental requirements for AI, of course, performance, compliance with the legal and technical regulation, and the second one is transparency and explainability. Always, when we discuss about AI, ethical principles, trust in AI, trustworthy AI, explainability appears as fundamental elements. Well, let me now to go inside of explainability, and I will present you 2 views of explainability. The classical one, static explainability, versus the new proposals, the new avenue with we can find some research, is a dynamic approach to explainability. First, we know that the heart of explainability are the explanation, the output of any explainability method, any explainability system is now the heart is to provide as output the explanation to the users, to the audience. And we know that now we can find a lot of explainability methods, and of course we can find a classification. This is a well-known classification proposed by Bodia, Guidotti, and other colleagues from Italy, when we can find different explainability methods according to the different kind of data. We have tabular, image, text, time series, graphs, so on, and then we can find now a lot of methods and a lot of possibility for these kinds of data. Fundamental the kind of data in order to use the appropriate method. And according to the use of the AI system or AI methods, particularly when we are using deep learning, we know that we are using or we approach the black model from a post hoc and static procedure. This is a taxonomy of the different post hoc that we did present in this figure in the same paper when we did introduce the definition of explainable AI. But this view is from a static point of view, because we provide an output and the people, the audience, receive one output. The same output and the same explanation is received by the designer or by the user or the end user. And this is a problem, depending of the technical approach, and you need a high-level knowledge in order to understand what happened, because you can receive the explanation, of course. One user can understand an explanation based on tests, even one end user in a medical scenario. But if we receive some local model with the explanation by the model simplification, will not be possible for an end user to understand. Or if you use explanation by examples, then probably the expert, the doctor in a medical scenario, can follow the example, because really you are working via similarity. One doctor can understand that this patient is very similar to this one, but the patient won't receive another kind of explanation. As an alternative, along the recent, basically the last 2 years, people and research start to propose new approach from a dynamic explanative scenario. And some people introduce new methods or new methodology like evaluative AI, incremental explainable AI, dialogue and conversational explainable AI using large language model, because we can introduce the explainability based on the text and the language, interactive and explainability or iterative explainable frameworks. Then, in this scenario, is fundamental one idea. It is fundamental the interaction between the system and the audience, because in a real scenario, we need to adapt the explanations and the output according to the audience. In this scenario is our approach, our proposal, because we focus in a scenario of human AI collaboration. Of course, according to the European regulation, now the European AI Act is the current European regulation. In any high-risk scenario, like health, and there are different scenario, high-risk scenario, the final decision must be taken by a human. And in this case, we have three possibilities. Some years ago, without AI, of course, the expert, the doctor, take decisions in the feedback with the patients. We have a possibility that when we are in a low-risk scenario, we can use an autonomous decision system, but it is not a recommendation when we are in a high-risk scenario, particularly in health. In health, we need the human must take the decision, and now and in the near future, we will work in a human AI decision-making model when the humans receive the recommendation, the AI system provide the advice predictions, and the human must check and take the final decision assisted by the AI. And then in this scenario, there are we are discussing about the human in the loop, when the human take a decision, and in this human in the loop, several studies present that is fundamental. Well, the expert intuition, the expert knowledge, when we studied about the intuition really is the internal knowledge. In Spain, some doctors say I have clinical vision when I observe a patient. Basically, a doctor has an internal knowledge. Sometimes the doctor cannot explain the knowledge, but they can observe data, observe symptoms, and take decision. And in this scenario, we need to combine the knowledge of the doctor together with the explanation. If the doctor can receive explanation from the system, explanation that the doctor can understand, of course, the doctor can improve the decision, even can avoid the high-reliance problems, over-reliance or under-reliance. This is the problem in the future. The problem in the future is that the young doctor will have not experience working with patients, and they must work together and a system in order to take decision. But we know that never we will have a perfect a system in medicine to take the correct decision. Then it is necessary to have this equilibrium, the trade-off between the doctor knowledge, the experience, and the A system advice. Well, in this scenario, our proposal is the co-explainers, and we introduce co-explainer as the name in order to include the concepts as co-intelligence. I will check now, introduce shortly it, was proposed by Ethan Mogic, and an American scientist last year. Was a one book published last year. The explainability in context, where I use we use here the term context about the audience, because we use the terms domain about the kind of problems. We have the domain of medicine, we have the domain of justice, and so on. And when we discuss about context, we are discussing about the kind of expert that must receive the output, the explanation. At fundamental, this co-explainer are interactive and iterative explainable AI framework in order to maintain an conversation or feedback between the audience and the assistant for receiving the correct or acceptable explanation. First, co-intelligence. I suggest to read this very interesting book by Ethan Mogic, and he introduced two kind of the co-intelligence. The first one is in the area of medicine. We can say is the centaur, the doctor centaur. When you you send the data to the assistant, you delegate the advice, you receive the advice, but finally the approval and the final decision is by the expert. The doctor centaur as a human with a special capacity to take the decision. And the other scenario that the Ethan Mogic introduced, he called cyborg, but really we know that cyborg has used in the films, and we understand the cyborg as the mix between human and machine, but he introduced the cyborg as the co-creativity. I prefer the terms of co-creativity between the human and the AI system in order to provide co-analysis and human decision making according to this collaboration. This is fundamental because in this scenario, the human in the loop is the expert, the doctor, that receive information or take or co-create or discuss and to take a final decision according to the system and to discussing together. Well, in this for this problem, we introduce in the explainability in context, and this is a model when we consider that when we are designing explainable methodology, explainable models, it's fundamental to consider the context. And in the context, we must consider, of course, we must consider the experts, and we can consider the algorithmic explainability. The domain is fundamental because when we change the domain, probably we need to change. Of course, we have different data. We must to change the kind of technical explainability methods. It's fundamental the expert, the domain expert. In the medical scenario, it's fundamental that the doctor must understand why the system provided this advice. And on the other side, we have the society, the end users. In order to increase the trust in AI, we can check that in America now the trust is 50-50. In the future, the end user need to also to receive information and to understand them. Basically, if we are an end user, my case, I don't understand medicine. Miguel is an expert in medicine. In my case, I need to receive textual information, conversation, and to understand why the doctor take a decision. If I know that there is a machine AI system that provide an advice to the doctor say, okay, in my case, I have high trust in AI, I can accept the decision of the doctor, but people far from this area may be uncomfortable because say, okay, you have a machine, a black box machine, and you accept the decision of the machine, but why? Is this my problem and no other problems? Then it's fundamental to provide usually from conversational approach, from tests using a language model, and to transform the explanation, the technical explanation using language model, and to provide information. And this is fundamental from an ethical point of view, from a legal justification, because any patient can, in Europe, for example, can request an justification about the decision, and is fundamental in order to increase the tracks in AI. Well, in this scenario, we propose the co-explainer as the interactive and iterative frameworks. When we propose a loop, when we have 4 steps, generation explanation, fundamental. We need to use different technical methods in order to generate different kind of explanation according to the data. We need a human feedback, because if the expert and the first step, the designer can improve, we can use the explanation in order to improve also the design of the A system, the use the A method. Recently, last year, was published a very interesting study in ICML conference when Biesek and Samek propose a taxonomy between blue explainable AI and red explainable AI. The blue was when the explainability and the explanation are sent to the end users or regulators, and the red explainable AI is when the output is sent to the designer, the research, in order to improve in a loop the method. This is fundamental, this human feedback according to the context, the people that is working with the system, and because first step is in the design step, and later the use. Well, of course, we need in this loop an explanation update, and we need to maintain and feedback in order to improve the explanation, in order to provide useful explanation for the users. And finally, of course, we need to accept that always we'll have a partial opacity. It will be so difficult. Sometimes we can provide that complete explainability, but sometimes we have opacity, and we need to introduce a governance model in order to have this trade-off between the explanations, the final explanation, and the opacity of the system. In this scenario, we know that there are different harms in our study. This is a study with some Spanish college and also Marco López Prado from Adialab. We propose a scenario when we have a taxonomy of the potential harms. We have a taxonomy with these 6 potential cluster of harms, and according to the potential harms, the risks, the security, safety, governance, and so on, we need to consider the context, and according to the context, the audience, we have the co-explainer loop with the 4 steps that I presented, and then we have finally the explainability in the context according to the audience, and we need to design this iterative model. With this iterative model, in this iterative model, the co-explainer contribution introduce more transparency, of course, high confidence, task calibration, and participatory governance according to the domain. Because, of course, also in each domain, high-risk domain, we need to adapt the methodology according to the legal aspect and the kind of data and the knowledge of expert, of course. This is our proposal when over the previous human in the loop classical scenario, when the human receive an explanation but must take a decision, we introduce a loop, an iterative process, when the experts, in this case the doctor, can maintain an interaction with the system in order to improve or receive an correct or more adequate or unstable explanation. An example, for example, the classical. Sorry, your question. Oh, well, this is the classical scenario with radiology, and which you can use how to use the model in different way. If for a junior clinician doctor is useful in order to learn and to provide more information in the training phase in order to learn why you have one symptoms in this chest radiography. In the case of a doctor with high experience, the doctor, according to the explanation, can say, okay, this explanation is according my knowledge, and I agree with the symptoms and the final decision about the treatment. Or the doctor can say, I am override, I have not confidence about this decision, my knowledge is quite different, and then the doctor, when the doctor overrides the decision of the system, can maintain an iterative feedback in order to provide more information, can ask about the reasoning, internal reasoning procedure for taking the advice, or can provide new information in order to tune and to adjust future decision. And finally, we have the opacity governance. In each scenario, we need entry of and define clearly the governance of the user of the system, under what conditions the user take the decision with the cooperation, the human collaboration between the A system and the human. This is an interaction approach that fosters both the clinical tracks, fundamental in the near future, in the medical scenario, for using a system together with the doctor and to increase the trust of the patient and user. And also, we can introduce adaptive model behavior. With this interactive model and this interactive methodology, we can introduce an effective explainability for the correct collaboration between the A system and the human. And it's fundamental in order to advance toward a co-decision making between the A system and the human. It's fundamental. Just now and in the next years, we always will observe, we must work on the doctor and in any hospital, we have this necessary collaboration between the system and the doctor, because we know that in some areas now the capacity of prediction of the system is higher even than the expert, but no, we have not top quality. In some kind of cancer, we know that the AI increase the capability of the expert, but of course we have a range of error, and it's fundamental, this trade-off, in order to improve the quality of decision, that the human must increase the capacity to take correct decision, must increase or reduce the error of the system, because if the expert cannot reduce the system error, the expert is unnecessary. In this case, we have a black box a system in the hospital, and we don't need the doctor. Then we need this collaboration, because it's fundamental in order to increase the capabilities in this scenario. Well, we have a lot of open studied, and how to embed explainability in the iLife cycle is fundamental to integrate explainability. Fundamental for building the trust with stakeholders, and we need to analyze the different the context of different kind of audience. We need to use, it's fundamental the use for the auditability and final accountability. Now in Europe, in 1 year, the new regulation will start, and the company must design an internal audit report for each system. Any company need for any A system an internal audit report to guarantee the correct behavior of the system. Then the explainability will be a fundamental element, and we can reduce the risks, of course, and it's fundamental to introduce explainability in the governance structures. Now we are discussing, there is a war discussion about the governance of in the use of the system, and it's fundamental this trade-off between the explainability and the opacity that we have in any high-risk scenario when we use deep learning or other complex model. Well, to finish some conclusion, with the explainability, of course, we can increase the tracks. We need to increase in the near future the effect of explainability according to this iterative approach. We need to consider the dependence of the domain, of course, and the context is fundamental. The domain, when we are using the AI and the kind of expert audience that are receiving the explanation as an output, and it's fundamental also to increase the people cognitive motivation using explainability. There are some recent studies when it's fundamental to introduce a special motivation, because it's fundamental that in the clinical, in medicine, for example, to have a special motivation for the doctor in order to guarantee this correct trade-off between the system and the human. Well, the final conclusion, fundamental is the cognitive motivation, and this is the reason of our proposal of these interactive models, and with these interactive and iterative models, our objective is to increase the quality of the AI governance, and of course, to introduce trustworthy AI as real transformation in healthcare. It's fundamental to increase the trust of the end user of patients. As we can observe, we have now the 50-50 in the trust in the AI, and it's fundamental to increase the trust in order to have a adequate and correct use of AI in the medical scenario and in remaining high-risk scenario. Well, thank you very much, and sorry because I am over time.
Depending on how hungry the crowd is, we can take a couple of questions.
Thank you very much, Paco, for this beautiful talk. You use a lot the word explainability and explicability. Is there a technical difference between those? I mean, can you give an example where it's explainable but not explicable, and vice versa?
No, it's the same. The word explicability, because in the first report, European report, the guidelines about trustworthy was 6 years ago. In the first report, when the European Commission high-level expert team provide the ethical principles of trustworthy AI, they did use explicability. But later, but they introduced explicability as the explainability AI. But later, always we use explainability. Yeah, and I have a copy, a sentence of the initial guideline. But now, all us, even in the European Commission, when we discuss about transparency as one of the requirements, the requirement is explainable AI. But I did maintain the exact sentence of the first guideline.
We in Portuguese and Spanish, we don't have the difference between the two at all.
In Spanish, even in the translation, there is not a difference. But even in English, and in the expert, in the AI community, is all people we use explicability. But if some people use explicability, we understand it's the same meaning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to know if there's an objective metrics to evaluate the explanations. I could imagine that humans prefer the explanation that are familiar with themselves, even me. So that means that it may encourage confirmation bias, right? So
thank you. The question is fundamental. This is a fundamental question. The metrics depend on the context. For example, in my team, we are developing metrics from in order to be evaluated by the designer, the research, in order to improve the quality of the assistant for designing the system. We need to design metrics from the AI designer point of view. But on the other side, we need now benchmark in order to design the metrics at the evaluation. We need to introduce the evaluation of the expert and the evaluation of the end user. And this will depend on the domain and the level and the context and the user. Now this is one also of the fundamental challenge to introduce this kind of metrics, and basically the kind of metrics is fundamental for the end users in order to increase the trust. Then now, in fact, one of the projects with Adia Lab now, we are discussing about agentic AI. We are discussing about framework in order to analyze in some medical scenario the quality of the decision according to the feedback with the large language model, and the possibility to have that the end user to evaluate the final explanation using language, usual common language. But now this is a fundamental, another fundamental challenge in order to increase the trust in AI and to have a really high confidence model between a system and human. It's fundamental, but this is now the challenge for each domain and each kind of end users.
Thank you for the presentation. It's a follow-up to his question. There was a slide where you explained safe and trustworthy. So are there metrics also to decide if the AI is trustworthy? If an assistant or in general?
Yes. When we discuss about trustworthy AI, according to the European guidelines, we have 7 requirements, and in the NICS, American NICS, we have similar requirements. Really, if we put them together, we have 9 requirements, but when we are discussing about trustworthy, we're discussing about privacy. It's fundamental, the privacy of the data, and the use of technology like federated learning and other technology in order to guarantee the privacy. We are discussing about the sustainability of the system and the environment. We are discussing about explainability. We are discussing about robustness, and we are discussing about security, safety and security from a global or complementary point of view, and of course fairness, to avoid fairness. And then for each one of these requirements, now we can find some metrics in order to analyze the level of trustworthiness of the system. There are now some initial studies about metrics, but like the previous question, now it's fundamental to have a good metric in order to analyze the level of trustworthiness, the level of explainability of the methods. Really is one of the important discussion inside of the AI community in order to analyze the level of trustworthiness according to different metrics. But according to all these points, fairness, explainability, privacy, robustness, security, and so on.
Thank you for the amazing insights. I think we don't have trustworthy AI unless we have the verifiable data lineage, or like a verifiable, transparent, verifiable data management layer, because otherwise all these AI running on the clouds or on-premise infrastructure, there's always a kind of black box where AI agents are interactive with each other. They're writing to each other without human consent. And how critical do you think this like verifiable, transparent, verifiable data management infrastructure to achieving the explainability?
Thanks for the question. For me, it's fundamental. The first fundamental element in the AI life cycle are the quality of the data. It's fundamental. You know, if you have not quality data, it's impossible to get a final high quality AI model or final high quality system. The data is fundamental, and in my personal opinion, I have a long experience. Even I published 10 years ago a book about data preprocessing in Springer, another 5 years ago another book on big data preprocessing. For me, the data preprocessing is fundamental in order to provide high quality data to the system. And second, I like a lot, I think that from an user, in medicine, a doctor, the use of prototype, selection of prototype, and to provide examples similar to the current patient, for example, similar data. For that, in the medicine scenario, for example, I think it's one of the best explanation, because one doctor can check exactly the level of different variables, image, and so on. And really, machine learning is a similarity approach, and we learn by observation. And that's even the doctor or the expert in the different high-risk problems work always in our life. We work by a comparison, by similarity with previous experience. We are in the scenario of the observation in AI. The second scenario, Miguel is a great expert in causal AI, and about the Judea pair, I remember the conversation of 1 year ago here in the airport about the different step of the that Judea pair proposed. One of that is to imagine and to make. I remember a discussion with Miguel that for him is to make or to imagine without previous experience is now the challenge of AI. In order to reach, is one of the challenge to reach artificial general intelligence. And then because we have an AI based on observation, for me the prototype, the quality, high quality data are fundamental. And if we can provide a prototype with high similarity levels to the expert, in my opinion, is one of the best explanations that we can provide then.
Thank you.
If we have no more questions, we can leave for lunch. Can we have a round of applause for Dr. Pereira?
Thank you.